Hello and welcome to our farmhouse kitchen. I'm Anna, and along with my husband Peter, we are raising 5 children on our small homestead. So on the farm, we love to use what's in season. Today we have fresh picked transparent gold apples. We make everything from applesauce to fruit roll, apple butter, and today I'm going to show you how we make apple pie. So let's get going. I'm going to grab my apron and we will start with the pie crust. So I have here 4 cups of flour, 2 cups butter. So this butter is from our Jersey cows. Their names are Belle and Polly. It looks like about 2 cups to me. Chunk it up a little bit. Oh, that's fairly soft. Okay, so now we have our flour and butter. Now we're going to add some eggs. So 1 egg per recipe, so 2 eggs. Mix with a fork. Normally I would use vinegar if I don't have vinegar. But whey is the strained liquid off of making cream cheese or any solid milk product, and then you end up with the whey. So that's what I'm using. A little acidic medium is always nice. So about 1 tablespoon per recipe. I just kind of add as I feel comfortable. So then we're going to begin this. Also, about 3/4 of a teaspoon per recipe, so 3/4 of a teaspoon twice. Now we're going to start mixing. And just kind of slowly do this. Slowly add the egg mixture. So our focus is to have the dough leave the sides of the bowl. So I have some water over here I'm just going to add. Slowly. We're almost there. For a nice flaky crust, the key is not to overmix. You just want it just mixed. Okay, done. I know most bakers like to refrigerate it. I typically go straight into it and I just start baking. And I usually have pretty good results. At least my pies always disappear, so. Okay, so now it's time to divide the dough. So I'm going to divide this into 2 shells. If you really want to weigh it and divide it, you can. I never do. I like to end up with a fairly soft dough. So I've got this dividing into 4 pieces. So I find that if you shape it into a nice ball, then you get a nicer crust. now we are going to just, I always take my pan and make sure we've got about the right size. You can quarter it like that and just lay it in the pan. Okay, now we are back with our cut up apples. I like to actually leave the peels on the apples. I also prefer to pick an apple that's slightly green or not softened too much. It gives a, I guess we kind of like more of a tart apple pie. So now I'm going to add just a little bit of lemon juice, and that just helps it to keep from browning. Kind of mix it up a little bit. Now I'm going to add some flour, and so this is going to be the thickening. It's going to help a little bit, help it thicken a little bit. I have cinnamon here. Let's just put that in. Let's put some salt in. Salt always brings out the flavor. I like nutmeg, just a little bit, and ginger. So now let's give that a bit of a mix. We forgot sugar. We do need sugar. Ideally, you could have put the sugar on first, but I always do everything backwards. But we still get it all together, so it's okay. Oh, I wish you could smell this. It smells so good with these spices and fresh apples cut. So you just want to make sure that's mixed really nicely. You want everything covered equally. I always add my pies, my filling, extra bulky, extra big, because I find that it reduces drastically. I like a pie with filling. So these freeze really well. You can top the crust and then freeze it and then bake it. Now I just want to even this out, make sure it's kind of okay. All right, now we're going to roll out those last. So again, I like to round out my crust a little bit, and it just kind of makes for a nicer round pie crust. So make sure you're flouring the top nicely, otherwise it just tends to stick to the rolling pin. Don't be cheap with your flour, otherwise it just sticks to everything. Okay, and again, an easier way is to fold it into quarters so you can get it onto your pie nicely. And here's a step I forget so many times, and then is to put the butter. It makes such a beautiful caramel sauce, and I don't skimp with butter. I think everything is better with butter. And actually, butter helps you digest. It's a good digestive aid, believe it or not. And if you have grass-fed butter like we have, it's actually so good for so many different things. And believe it or not, butter is not fattening. This, there. So good fresh ingredients are a key to good tasting food. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to have a lot of fancy ingredients, just good quality ingredients. So I just take both of my shells and I tuck them underneath. Makes a little bit of a thick crust there, but honestly, I love a nice good crust. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're putting both shells together, and we just fold it underneath, both together, and it kind of hides a multitude of sins. So if you've got a short crust there, nobody's going to know because you're just tucking it in there. It's like tucking in your bed the loose ends if you didn't get it all straight underneath. And then if you get the top in, it looks perfect. Okay, so then I notice that it's a little bit short there, so I just give it a bit of a flatten all around, just to kind of even it out. And then I lift my finger up, I put my thumb like this, thumb down, finger up. Okay, and then I'm just going to give this some air pockets here. So I go in quarters with long ones, and then I do a little stab in the center. There, and there's the 2 pies. And so you can use an egg wash. You can mix a little bit of egg with water on top and then sprinkle some sugar, but it's perfect just like this too. So there's our 2 simple apple pies. Okay, so these pies are ready to bake now. So another option is you can freeze them for a few minutes till they harden off, and then you can put them in a freezer bag so they don't get all misshapen. But my oven is preheated to 375, so I'm going to bake them right now for about 45 minutes. So here we go. Okay, so here we have our 2 pies fresh out of the oven. They've been cooling for about 15 minutes. There has been a mouse in the house. I am sorry, there is one missing, but I will cut one more for you. If you're interested in learning more, I will be offering a number of demonstrations, including soap making, wool processing, felting, beeswax, sourdough bread baking, fermentation, permaculture, canning, and more. We're looking forward to your visit at the farm or on Instagram at Homestead in the Valley.